Well, hello, a very good morning. Welcome. Thank you very much indeed for joining us for our day 4 of our 11/11 Global Shopping Festival broadcast live from our studios here in the UK, which we're doing in collaboration clearly with WPP, BAV and Alibaba. Well, we have a full program again for you today. In a minute, we'll be going live to China. I'll talk about that in a few moments. We have got a fantastic session on how to set up your own Teemo store. We're delving deep into the business end of live streaming and how it works. And also we'll be looking at the practicalities of how can you make your logistics to China something that is as easy as possible, and how you can accelerate your cross-border trade. Now, I hope all of you managed to see 2 great interviews that we did yesterday, one with the global CMO of Alibaba, Chris Tung, and the other all about live streaming with Mark and Zoe. If you did miss that, don't worry. You can watch it on demand. The website you're on at the moment will have links to all the previous sessions and broadcasts that we've done up to this one today. But don't go away now, please, because I'm delighted in a second to be going over live to China to see GroupM. Now, please use the hashtag to tweet your various different comments. It's a pretty simple and easy hashtag to use, which is WPP BAV 1111. There it is on the screen. So please, you know what to do, you know how to use it. So hashtag and tweet away. Now, it seemed only a few hours ago that we spoke to Jerman Zhang, who is the Chief Commerce Officer for GroupM China. In fact, it was Monday, the very beginning of our broadcast. And I'm very glad that we are back live in Shanghai, where we very warmly welcome Jerman Zhang, Chief Commerce Officer of GroupM China, and Joyce Shen, the manager of GroupM China. A very warm welcome, Jerman and Joyce. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised both Joyce and Jerman look so bright and wide awake. They've been working literally 24 hours a day, I think, for the past 4 days since 11/11 started, and have just released a report looking at what's happened over the course of the last 4 days. GroupM are launching 2 reports, one today and the other one at the end of 11/11 as a big wrap-up. And we're absolutely delighted to be featuring this report by the 2 authors. So again, thank you very much indeed, both of you. And we look forward to hearing through your eyes, your ears, through the data that you have available to you at GroupM to give us a really good understanding of exactly what's been happening right across China for 11/11 2021. I've been privileged to have seen the report, and I'm sure you are all going to find it absolutely fascinating. This has just been released, and you're the first people outside of China to see this. So over to the 2 of you.
Thank you, Derek. Hi, everyone. I'm Jerman. I'm very excited to have the chance to introduce our W11 report just released yesterday to calculate the first wave of the W11 Shopping Festival. So it's very fresh, and I will pass to Joyce, and she is the chief editor of this report.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joyce. It's my very great honor to be here with you to share my point of view and also the WPP Commerce point of view on this 11/11 Shopping Festival. So here, we're about to cover 3, wait a minute, it's a tech.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So in this
we're all good. We can see it. Thank you.
Yeah, we will mainly cover 3 parts of this sharing. The first part is the performance highlights on this 11/11, the first wave of shopping. And next is how the platform is doing in their marketing. And the third is how the brands should doing their marketing, or you can call it a marketing tactic. So the first part, the performance and highlights. As you may know, the 11/11 is one of the most biggest shopping festival in China and also maybe the worldwide. But what you might not know is the W11 Global Shopping Festival actually starts not from the W11. It starts from October the 20th, 8 p.m. this year. So no more stay up late. People can just buy things at 8 p.m. The pre-sales kicks off actually 4 hours earlier this year. And next. And this year, the Global Shopping Festival theme is Let's Go to Happiness. So under the Let's Go to Happiness, we actually have 3 main keywords for this. First one is Happy 11. So plenty of discounted products are provided for over 900 million consumers, like people to buy the stuff they want in a very good deal. And the next is Going Green. I know carbon neutrality is one of the hot words this year. And also the e-commerce and Alibaba also want to embrace the carbon neutrality. They encourage shoppers to explore more eco-friendly brands and products with a dedicated vertical, while a lot of green shopping coupons and vouchers will be given away for those consumers who have purchased some green products. And the third, and also the last, is the Goods for Green. This is also the 15th year Alibaba do the Goods for Green. 1.1 million people will be expected to benefit from Alibaba Group Goods for Good program during this year. So for this year, we will basically focus on 3 kind of people. The first one is the elderly people who live in alone, and the second one is the children in those like tier 3 or tier 4 cities without parents at home, and the last one is the people below the average income leverage. So, and let's see something exciting. The Teemo actually kicks off with a very booming sales. So for the past shopping window, the first shopping window from October the 20th to November the 1st, over 400,000 live streaming was on Taobao on the single night on October the 20th. And the combined GMV of top live streamer in China, Austin Lee and Via, has been hit over 20 billion RMB, and over 216 brand sales in the first moment day has exceeded what's on the November the 1st last year. So this is actually a very great number, and we're looking forward to see.
Joyce, can we infer from this? I know we spoke to Jerman about this on Monday, but can we infer from this that live streaming really is mainstream now?
I think for the kickoff day of this W11 is the mainstream, because you just mentioned Austin and Via. They just like a kickoff the overall this year's W11, and at that night they almost take a majority of the sales. But if overall, I think it just only still take less than 10% of overall GMV from live streaming. It's become bigger and bigger, right? So it's a mainstream, at first mainstream activity that every brand will use to do, but from GMV perspective, it's still a small number right now.
Okay, great. Well, that's a relatively small number. Still a large number.
Yes, from the percentage perspective.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's the platform is doing this year to let the GMV hit so strong? And for the highlights here, we will cover about content, interaction, new product and China chain, and finally the unit marketing. So first one, the content interaction. As I have mentioned before, the combined GMV of top live streamers actually is a very astonishing number. So for Austin Lee, he brings in offers to all ladies in all means. So leading up the pre-sale Austin actually has launched a short video series called Bring Offers to All Ladies, shows how he has bargained with brands for a better deal for consumers, which also has made all the consumers, women consumers, wanted to buy those stuffs and make the brands so happy with their results on October the 20th at night. And not only also the short video series, but he also launches an online Excel tips revealing all the shopping strategies in Austin's live streaming room. And for Via, she has actually doing the social seeding as well with a blog and an interactive short video on Bilibili, one of the most famous video site in China. So she let consumers know what should buy, what should not be buy, and she promised the consumer in that blog that she will bring the best offer and the lowest price to consumers. And also she has launched the online Excel forecast for all goods and deals, which will be occurred in her live room. So why those online Excel will be so hit this year is because every year the W11 Shopping Festival is a mathematic test for all Chinese consumers. They need to do the calculation which is the best. So this year, the top live streamer has did that for us, and which makes all the consumers very happy to see. For the content and social seeding parts, not only the live streaming is doing that, but also brands and the celebrities, they are doing that as well. So for brands, they are not only doing the live streaming themselves daily, but also during the promotion and very important days, they will invite their executives and some celebrities to come to their live room for driving traffic. And why executives will be so important also in this session is because executive stands for the good quality. They will expect, consumer will expect the executive or the bosses will explain why the brand, why the product is in the good quality, and also they expected the executives to bring a better offer for them. And for the KOC or for the normal consumers, actually, Teemo has launched the W11 seeding machine. In this session, consumers can be informed of all the W11 related products and the promotion information ahead of time. So they can see what is other KOCs, what is other people's recommendations from the stars to the brand. So, and also they have a seeding ranking. So they can see in each category. Let's talk about like beauty care or the digital products. So they can see what is ranked at top or ranked down, so they can choose which one will be their best choice. So, and also,
have you seen more and more executives participating this year?
So we'll see like the executive for the live streaming room, especially during the big promotions like W11, 618, or their Super Brand Day. Executive in the live streaming room become a must. So people will just expect that. If you don't have, that means like it's not so convincible.
It's more often that the executive will join the live streaming because that means that they will bring special offer.
Right. So note for all executives: polish up your live streaming skills. You're going to need
it. Just means that you will have a special offer that night.
Yeah. So. And also, like for the beauty care categories, they also expected some R&D executive to explain why the product is made of that and the reason why those products can make the skin better. So, and for the gamification part in the W11, so every year, Teemo will launch some small games to arouse consumers' interest and also drive traffic. Below the games, you will see some brand awards. So the brand can be exposed to raise their brand awareness. And this year, they launched a new game called Miao Tang, which is also like you just throw something and you can just walk ahead of the map. It's just basically like a lottery thing, I think, and customize the game's interactions for consumers and will also include some brand elements. As you may see on the screen, they have some tools or small things to help you to get through the game, and the brand can be involved in that part. You can show your logo on that. You can show your products on that. Anything one. explain.
How important do you think gaming and gamification is becoming now? I mean, a few years ago it was a bit of a plaything, but it seems to be more and more integral.
Yes, I think it's very critical for every e-commerce platform because the methodology logic behind us, you need to find the share of the time of the user's time, because right now more often go to the social media side. They're killing their time. So for e-commerce platform, they're very nervous that we need to do something to behind it is how to fight for the time of the user. So gaming, interactive gaming is very important things, how to increase the time share and also increase the stickiness. Almost every e-commerce platform doing this, including Teemo. Yes.
So I suppose the distinction between gaming and shopping is getting further and further blurred together.
Yes, because you look at this interactive games, they also will enable brands to do some ads in this gaming. So you can sponsor this price, you can sponsor this game, and also that when the user play the games, they naturally they will accept this brands, or maybe you can get the coupon from specific clients and brands. So it's more almost integrate together. It's also very important for the platform or for the client, for the brand from the client side, how to engage in this interactive gaming.
Thanks.
Okay. So besides all these content interactions, the NPD and China Chink is also the big wave this year. And we would like to embrace the wave of China Chink. Means like so many products made in China are rising this year. Consumers has been more aware of like products made in China will be a better choice as well. So the live streamer will also collaborate with those products as well. Like you may see Austin Lee and Via, they have produced some small video series with Teemo as well to explore new needs of Gen Z and teach the R&D story behind some Chinese brand. And also Teemo has launched a new China Chink Pavilion to explore the trends in different cities to find the best merchandise and excavated the history for the brands. And the next part is about the Metaverse, which was also the hit word in this year. So actually, Teemo has embraced the Metaverse very quickly this year in this W11. So for the offline side, they have launched the 2021 Teemo Avenue. It is basically a new product virtual gateway in Shanghai, which is launched in Shanghai Expo Center with 5 artists. So this year, the Teemo Avenue showcases for over 150 new products for this year, and in the creative open windows. So consumers can go to offline to see what the new products look like and what the new products are, the features and what they're designed for. And also, Teemo has a new Metaverse staff called IIE, who is also one of the first Chinese metahuman. So IIE joined Alibaba, I think maybe in September this year, and also she is entitled to be the digital creative director of Teemo Super Brand Day. So soon after she has been announced to be one of the staff in Alibaba, she has launched the Metaverse Arts Exhibition online to show its limited collections from different brands in the form of NFTs. So actually, consumers can see what brands is doing, what's their thoughts and ideas about the Metaverse in the future, and also consumers can buy those stuff in the NFT forms. And a little bit.
Is this? I mean, yeah. Have you played around with this? Is this a good user experience?
Well, I have seen that before. It is actually a very smooth experience. I mean, it is very new. It comes in the animation form, so very fresh and very exciting. But I haven't bought the NFT yet. So, what's your thought, Jerman?
I think from Metaverse perspective, AR and VR is not a new thing for e-commerce. For example, like luxury category, they will leverage AR, VR technology to help to enhance the experience. But for this meta-human, sorry guys, I don't get the time to experience this. But I think it will be all the new things will attract the new user and also improve the experience.
And is this the first time in 1111 that you can purchase sort of an NFT?
Yes.
Yes. And also new things in China for Metaverse and this mooncake.
We'll have to find someone who's purchased one part of it and have a chat with them. Oh, you should purchase it and let us know how the process works.
Sure.
Great. Sorry.
Besides all those China Chink and the Metaverse stuff, the platform has to do their do the multiple channel and the planning management economics. So actually, Teemo wants to connect multi-scenarios across the whole consumer journey. So in the first step, they want to target consumer before they go to the shopping place. I mean, the Taobao actually. So they can target the consumer with the IP stuff on the video side. So consumers can see the brands with in some variety shows or in some dramas, and then after they have watched that, the consumer data will be backflowed to the data tools, so the consumers can be retargeting in the Taobao or in the commerce place. And after that, they can be converted to a membership, so the brands can target them and can have their data with permissions in all channels, and they can give their coupons, remind them of all the promotions, and then they can smoothly convert them, whether it's online or it's in the like on-demand delivery, or it's just present site on like a Fresh Hippo. You can just purchase it on the site. So
before you leave that, because in a sense that summarizes really well the ecosystem as well. It is part of the strategy now for 1111 to generate more and more users, new people, new names, new email addresses that you can then put through that ecosystem over the course of the next 12 months.
Yes.
Great. Well, we'll take that. That's the simple answer to a very to a longer question that probably needed to be, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. So actually, not only the brands but also the platforms want to get the growth by recruiting new consumers and have the new consumer like enhance their loyalty. But how to enhance their loyalty? It is by ask them to join the membership. So yes, it is a very important strategy to let the brands to recruit, at the same time recruiting the consumers and ask them to be the member.
And I suppose, again, from a planning perspective, you could amortize the discount that you're giving to the consumer for that product across all the activity that you're going to do across the next 12 months.
Yes.
As opposed to just looking at it a single day economics of purchase and a price.
Yeah, we want to leverage their consumer lifetime, so definitely.
So we were talking about CLV, customer lifetime value, in the latest pages, because also very important CLV.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Let's move next. So as you have mentioned, the ecosystem has been a very important thing, but what platforms are doing this year is they are trying to break through this their only ecosystem. So they're trying to let the shopping carts can be shared onto other platforms outside their ecosystem. Teemo actually has launched our sharing shopping cart game this year. So if you click into the app, you can see what's in the KOLs or what's in your friends' shopping carts, so what they have buy, and it can be directly shared to other apps like Alipay or Weibo or TikTok, or you may just like going the offline and shaking your cell phone with your friend, and you can just directly see that. And also the integrated content resources has been like very fruitful this year for seeding the omni-channel membership and enhancement. So Taobao and is like using every stuff and every IP to recruiting new members and let the consumers to see what they can be, what's the benefit. So as across the journey, you can see the membership benefits on the homepage, on your subscribing, on your live streaming, and that I expect what David said previously, recruiting new members will be a very important thing, and that's what brand will do for the next 12 months. So for the coming up marketing tactics, every platform has upgraded their business and the marketing index or methodologies onto this year. So the reason they're doing that is they want to leverage the consumer lifetime value and also the product lifetime value. This year, the Teemo has launched the Do Well business management method with the AIPL to Deeplink index. So let me explain a little bit what those things are. Teemo Do Well business methodology is basically how you should run the customer lifetime value management and how you should run the product lifetime value management. So with the let's talk about the consumer side first. With the consumer, you have as you may know, the AIPL stuff, which means you can have consumers in their different life stage, and you may see how this life stage is advancing, how healthy your consumer is operating, and then you will find how well it is operated in your private traffic. Let's say about the membership or your store traffic. And the last thing is how you can leverage their awareness on your brand. They launched another index called NEO to measure what is your brand awareness level in your consumer. So combining all those stuff, they launched the consumer lifetime value management to let the brands know more about the consumer and can extend and also get more value from the consumer as well. And for the product lifetime value management, they launched a methodology called SUPER, which means the store products and how you should utilize your products, how the fulfillment of the delivery is from all this. So which is just like from all the perspective how your product should be managed. So your products can find a right person, and then you can have a business growth in a very healthy way for a long time.
Now, before you leave that, I think many people will be surprised at how sophisticated these tools are, and how you can use that level of granularity to be able to optimize how you're using the platform.
Yes.
Is that something that is only available to the big, massive brands, or can small to medium brands also take advantage of that?
I think for the detail how we use this methodology to helping brands, everyone can pay attention to our second part of the W11 report. We had more case use this kind of methodology coming out very soon on November 12th. But of course, back to the question. Of course, right now the Teemo we also working with Teemo's strategic team to also helping some of the pilot brand to use this methodology to build a case. And but overall, as a platform perspective, they want to apply this methodology to also the SME, the small and medium enterprise to use this, because every brand, every seller, they need to balance how to better use how to better play on the user side, that's the CLV, and also the product side, that's fit for methodology can fit for every brand, every seller. But of course, big massive brand will be better because they have more data and also market budget.
That's a great perspective. But I sort of start to see more and more now about that type of framework and the data feeds that are coming in, live data on both of those dimensions, to be able really now to envisage a sort of a data-led creative approach on a real-time basis. I mean, you can start to see the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle all coming into place, and clearly this year it's being played out. So I think that's quite fascinating.
Yeah, sure.
And so the last one is about how the consumers should be operated. Alibaba, one of the agency in Teemo, has actually launched the Deeplink index to empower the brands to operate their consumers. So I think a lot of you may be aware of the AIPL stuff, which means the different stage in the consumer lifetime value. It means aware, interest, purchase, and loyalty. But today, Alibaba wants to segment the consumer in a more detailed way. So instead of AIPL, they segmented the consumers in the D, E, E, P, L, I, N, K, which called deep link stages. So the D and E stands for the A for the discover and the engage. And the second E and the P stand for the I, which is the enthusiasm and the performance. And the L is about the universal L. We'll talk about later what is in the universal L. And the I stands for the P, which is the initial purchase, and the N and K is under the L, so it is numerous purchase, and you will be the king consumer of the brand. So in this way, while consumers can be segmented in a more detailed way, the brands will be more aware of how they should target consumers and what's their basically operating index and what they should do to engage the consumer and ask them to converse.
Now, with Deep Link, presumably you get more granular level of data across all of those dimensions to be able to deeper dive into each of those segments to work out what your strategy should be.
Yes. Yeah, because this is why because previously, 3 to 4 years ago, Alibaba just introduced the AIPL framework, awareness, interest, purchase, loyalty. And then this year, why they introduced Deep Link, because we need to go more precisely, more broader, also linked to not only limited to the e-commerce inside, but also the outside. That means that we need to how to integrate the integration of the branding campaign, also the content and social seeding all together. So when we're doing this, we need to use the consumer, we need to follow the customer journey. So every facing, we need to have an index and we need to have a tracking. So that would be take engage as an example. When we do the social seeding, how we need to measure this social seeding's performance, that will be fall into the engage part. So there will be more data in this enable us to do better planning, better strategy, and also better tracking and better optimization.
Well, I can only imagine that over time there's going to be even more granular level of data. So I'm sure we'll have new longer words to describe the platform.
You need that team of data scientists on there.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have whole sentences that we have to chop up. Great, thanks.
Yeah, that will be all of our presentation. Thank you, David. Thanks for listening.
Well, thank you very much indeed. I mean, that's been a fascinating journey. Obviously, you'll be pulling together even more of the strands that start to appear over the course of the next few days, and especially sort of the closing day on the 11th of the 11th, when clearly there's going to be a lot of value flowing through the system. So we also look forward to seeing that report. Before I let you go and start work on that, a couple of general observation questions for you both, because you really have been studying this hard, and I think you have a very unique perspective now. So I think the first thing is there anything that you've seen that, from your analysis, that has really surprised you for 2021?
I think for me, the biggest surprise me things is still the live streaming, especially the top 2 KOL live streamer, Austin Lee and also they just made a very crazy sales record. It's 10 billion sales in one night. Is very crazy, even for us, surprised me, because it's become bigger and bigger. Especially in the beauty category, every famous brand will rely on them to selling the beauty products. So that's for me, it's a very surprise that how the also implication about us how we can integrate this live streaming activity into our overall planning and strategy, and how to leverage the data to do better live streaming and also how to do the CLV, customer lifetime value management. That's the biggest implication for me this year. I'm not sure.
Joyce?
Yeah, the thing that astonished me the most is actually we can buy the FTS, the NFT stuff online on Taobao. So I didn't expect that they come so earlier.
Yeah, that's the age difference.
Well, I'm still plucking up enough courage to buy my first NFT. I'm going to have to do it soon, just to be able to understand the experience. But I'm sure that's something that we're all going to have to come to terms with, of paying good money to earn to buy something that is completely virtual as opposed to physical. The second question really is, I suppose, is aligned to that. We heard Kristen yesterday talk about well, I suppose what we would call a metaverse strategy. I'm not certain how Alibaba define it, but the work that's being done and the vision for more metaverse experiences. I know that you said that the luxury players have been using this environment for some time. I've seen some really interesting work that L'Oreal have done in the metaverse, both in China and now they're rolling it out. In fact, we have a session on that coming up during the course of our programming. But are we now seeing the seeds through 11/11 this year of metaverse, however you want to express it, activity becoming more important, and over the next few years, becoming something that everybody is going to have to get used to understanding and working out how it works for their brand and how they can drive sales through it?
I mean, I still strong believe that this kind of metaverse technology and AR/VR will play a critical role in specific category, especially just I mentioned the luxury and the beauty or clothing, because you need more rely on the previously more rely on the offline experience. Right now, you can enable just virtual and also online to helping consumer to better experience understanding the product. So that will be the benefit of this. And we believe that especially right now everyone talk about metaverse, so it will be speed up this kind of revolution.
Yes, I think we were saying yesterday. I think it's now obligatory to put metaverse in every single conversation you're having. It's
I heard I'm not sure rumors just in China last year they had more than 200 just like workshop event talking about metaverse. So that will speed up this kind of usage in e-commerce for sure.
Well, one final question, very unfair question, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. You can decide to answer it or not. If you were betting people, what do you think the year-on-year increase or decrease is likely to be in terms of total GMV over the 11/11 period for 2021, given what you're seeing so far?
This is not a difficult thing. Because Teemo Alibaba will select to disclose and not disclose the total GMV number. If they select to disclose the GMV number, that will be increased for sure, maybe 10% to 15%. If they decide not to disclose the number, that we don't know this decrease or increase. But for this year, I think it's still increased because we'll be highly engaged in different categories, brands W11 campaign. So we know they are doing a good job in the first wave, which ended yesterday. So they almost every client, every brand we serve right now is achieved their first wave planning. And I think so this year is okay, still okay. But yes, this is a mature market right now.
Great. Well, we wait with bated breath. Really, a fantastic analysis that you've given us. Really helps give us some insight of what's happened so far. Really want to thank you very much indeed for joining us. Jerman Zhang, the Chief Commerce Officer for GroupM China, and Joyce Shen, the Manager for GroupM China, the co-authors of this report. Today's the first day, I think it comes out in English, yesterday in Chinese. And I know you'll both be working phenomenally hard on the final report that comes out on the 12th. But for the moment, thank you very much indeed for joining us. It's been a pleasure and a delight to talk to you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you.
Well, we're now going to move over to our also our view of what's going on in China, but through the lens of Vitabiotics. And Asia for Vitabiotics. Benji, how are you? Benji, we can see you, but we can't hear you.
Can you now hear me?
Ah, we can hear you now. Excellent.
Lovely to see you, David. Yes, how are you?
Very good indeed. So I don't know how much you caught of our previous session with our GroupM colleagues in China, giving us a view and perspective of what's been going on. Really interesting developments, more data being supplied by the platforms, in much more granular form. Live streaming, literally going off the clock in terms of the volume for the first period that's been done via live stream, the number of live streams that have been done, and clearly, I suppose, a positive proof that there's even more consolidation with the real premier live streamers. I think you can probably count those live streamers on one hand, but they really have a massive presence in the marketplace. And also the emergence of new technologies being used. Vitabiotics, critical time. You've been very kind and talked to us over the course of the last few days with an update of what's going on. What are you seeing through your Vitabiotic lens in China today?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, we're looking a lot at bundles. So what I mean by bundles, product bundles, how we pair different offerings in more attractive and engaging ways. So we as a brand work across multiple categories throughout W11. So we will have a mother baby category store, and we will have a healthcare category store. The mother baby store, interestingly, essentially fixes the bundles. It fixes the price offering and fixes the products that are paired together. The healthcare store switch it up. So as we've entered into the second wave of this sales event, the bundles are all changing, which is interesting from a consumer perspective, because they're looking at different pairings of products. There's different creatives that are associated with those bundles, and there's different price offerings associated with that bundle. So a consumer that, say, touched base with us in wave one might not add to cart, but they might flag it, and then they'll come back in wave two to see what else we're offering, or to see if there's any additional variations. So I think that's quite an interesting point to note, how the as a touch point.
Now, how much control, Benji, do you have on the makeup of those bundles, the price of individual component elements to it, and clearly the blended margin across each bundle?
Full control, because it's a flagship brand store, direct to consumer. So we have full control over that process. Usually we will agree in advance with our trade partner what that blend of margin and price strategy is going to be. But sometimes it changes. I mean, I was observing the last session about live data and how that feeds into strategy. You know, for us, that is also the case. So we look at stock availability, and we'll look at what's actually trending on the stores, where we're getting the best indexing from consumers in terms of visits and comments and whatever else. And we can then switch up the bundles live. So we do this, and we have a roster of product that we've ring fenced that can potentially be switched and be variable.
And Benji, how do you cope with it from a communication creative standpoint? Have you created communications on the back of the possibilities of the various different versions of those bundles, or once you've decided on which version of the bundle to make live, you do the creative there and then?
Yeah, that's correct. We just define a set range of bundles, and we would say, okay, for example, if this doesn't sell as well as we thought in wave one, then we're going to need to adapt the strategy in wave two, which I think is a really strong selling point for this wave model, for this two-phase W11 model, in that we have the flexibility to do that. And when we're allocating budget against that, we might go, okay, let's put 60% of our in-channel into wave 1, 40% into wave 2, but let's put 80% of our off-channel into wave 1. So let's really focus on that initial touch point with consumer and that initial new customer acquisition. And then how can we retarget them through the next phase of advertising to pull them back into that second wave? So yeah, it's a combination of defining what bundles we can vary.
Now you raise a very interesting point. I've never asked the question, so I'm glad you raised the point because it's made me think about the question actually, which is, we look at the different phasings of 11.11. Last year was pretty similar to this year, but beforehand it was a single day, and we've looked at it from sort of an Alibaba perspective. But from a vendor perspective, from a brand perspective, how do you view the difference, positively and negatively, between everything happening through the 24-hour period of one day versus this phased 11-day, well, longer with the pre-sales period, but this period, the lay down that we seem to be moving into at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's great, and maybe the most important question from a brand perspective, actually. Foundationally, I think it works because it gives consumers so much more browsing time and time to engage with interactive content, and time to, but also time to shop around competitors. So I think there's an element of increasing competition by extending that.
But clearly it also gives you the opportunity to see what the competitors are up to and react accordingly.
Yeah, of course it does. Yes, and it gives more time, of course, for live streaming, which we've discussed extensively throughout these sessions. And the live streamer sessions are queued up, so there's much more opportunity to get onto those broadcasts. Ultimately, from a brand...
Benji, out of interest, how quickly can you tell the live streamer, we're going to move from bundle A to bundle B or bundle T or bundle Z?
With the live streamers, you don't have that kind of flexibility. You do have to be defining the product and the pricing for a live streamer. When I was referring to bundles, I was referring to what we're doing on store, kind of direct consumer to store pricing strategy rather than a specific live streamer offering, which I think we touched on. This is often contracted. So you'll say, well, I'll put X into it and achieve X ROI. And if it's not achieved, then that can be achieved over multiple streams. So that's fantastic, but it doesn't give you the flexibility to just flipping another product because it's already defined what they're going to do.
So Benji, give us a feel for, in a sense, what's happening at your end from a management perspective and what's happening on the ground. We spoke to your team on Tuesday, all frantically busy, clearly. The next 24 hours, what decisions collectively are you going to be making? Yeah,
well, the next 24 hours, we're looking a lot off channel. So we're looking a lot at what we're doing in our social media ecosystem. So that's obviously the Reds, the Weibo's, the WeChats, the Douyins of the world. And we're looking at what's been driving engagement in that first wave. So learnings, 2 waves equals greater learnings. And we're trying to refine that we'll create way more content than we need for this period. So we might only need 5 videos, but we'll create 30 to 40 variations. and then and we can run like small test pilots over them. And then the ones that have the traction, we can pop in with the higher budgets. So we're working with Alibaba Cloud on this, and we're going to discuss that in another session. But this intelligent cloud learning through offsite to insight traffic is really exciting. So my head's definitely in that in the next 24 hours.
Well, Benji, maybe we'll pick that up with you tomorrow in terms of that new data you're getting, because I think many people will be very surprised that type of data is available, and probably uncertain of what on earth that you do with it when you do get that data. So I think tomorrow maybe we can spend a little bit of time when we talk to you in the morning about the processes, what you've looked at, and the decisions that you made over the course of the last 24 hours on the back of, in a sense, data that you didn't have this time last year.
Yeah, but linking to the cloud, especially as we're an SME working in this way with the cloud, it's an interesting collaboration. I think just one thing I'd wanted to raise that's really important from a pragmatic perspective is stock in time. So I know that you were talking a lot about the better tools for forecasting and live data, which will improve the ability to forecast. But what we do as a brand and what SMEs need to do is factor in that stock throughout the year. So they're always adding in a surplus for this more intensive sales period.
And I suppose, Benji, that has a couple of implications, doesn't it? One is you've got to do that over a longer period of time. And B, it ties up quite a bit of working capital.
It does, and it ties up resource capital in terms of planning internally is a headache because they're going, well, why do you want the stock now? or there's other demands on this stock. But what it's done is it's enabled us to counter issues with logistics, air and sea, given supply chain issues, longer lead times, all the rest of it. So that's been really important, and with that more granular data from last year, you're able to extrapolate that across the year and just say, okay, well let's just add this in surplus by surplus to ensure that then if there's an issue with the big shipment that's going out in W11 and you've got overspill bonded warehouse space, you'll be able to meet that demand, and that's actually pivotal because I know a lot of SMEs who have not managed to do that. And they've really struggled to get stock out to China for this year's W11.
Great. Well, if you haven't got stock for 11/11, you're not going to have sales. So pretty binary type of a relationship. Benji, pleasure to speak to you. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. And I hope your decision making over the next 24 hours leads to some very positive results. And we'll be talking about those tomorrow morning. Benji Lam, the Director of China for Vitabiotics and also for Asia as well. Thank you very much indeed for joining us today.
Thank you all. Take care. Have a lovely day.
And we will be back in just a few minutes when we'll be talking to Zarina Kanji about how to open your own Teemo store. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't forget to hashtag get a cup of tea. We'll be back in a few minutes' time. Thanks very much indeed.